Hello people of Earth and welcome to Toy Story 2. I'm playing the PC version. Those of you that have been fans of my channel for a while or followed my channel for a while may realize I've played this game before but never finished it, and that was the N64 version. So this time I'm playing the PC version. I just get a lot better performance, it looks nicer, stuff like that. I was actually going to go with the PS1 version because the PC version was actually pretty darn hard to find. So I found a source where someone had compiled a bunch of stuff together to get it working. Not entirely sure, but I think there was a Voodoo FX graphics card emulator. So I'm not sure exactly everything that went into this, but it's got sharp visuals now with all that, and I can run it in HD. Looks better than any of the console versions. This is the version I'm gonna go with, and I'm not entirely used to the controls at the moment. I'm gonna try, but... Alright. I did customize the controls, but they're still not completely... I'm still not completely used to them. For example, looking up and down is inverted when you go into aiming mode. Also, you can't move around or anything when you're in aiming mode. Would have been cool, but unfortunately that's not in the game. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to 100% this or not. I think I'll try, but if I run into too much trouble, I'll just go ahead and skip to the bare minimum to get through. But I first saw this game a couple of years ago. I saw some screenshots, and it looked really cool. And at the time, all I had was an Android tablet, so I was, trying to see if there was any way I could get it working. And I tried the N64 version because I had a cheap Android tablet, and the PS1 version had a, what was at the time a pretty high file size. I think it was like 600 megabytes. That on top of getting a PS1 emulator just seemed ridiculous at the time for the amount of storage space. So I went with the N64 version, and it ran horribly, and I never could get it working properly, so I just kind of never played it much. And then I got it on PC with an N64 emulator. Wasn't really happy with the results there either. I was using Project 64, which to this day I still have issues every time I try to use it. I forgot I'm supposed to be charging this up. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully well. Luckily, I did a decent job of reconfiguring these controls, and I think we're gonna do alright. Hopefully I got the audio levels right, because otherwise I'm gonna have to re-record this, and that would be terrible. So, I realize I haven't done very many gaming videos in a while. I just sort of haven't felt like doing it. I always wanted to do something that, was a bit, I want to focus on other types of content. So, Let's Plays sort of got put on the back burner and honestly forgotten about. Not actually forgotten about, but, neglected. So, I'm trying to do them again. So, I think I'm gonna go to the garage next, because the garage is usually pretty slow. I know the first couple of levels of this really well, but I never got that far into the game. So, most of the stuff I'll be seeing for the first time in this series. So, that's good, I guess. Oh, I remember how I found out about this game, because there was a Toy Story 2 map for Minecraft, and I was really impressed by it, and it was through that I found out about this game. Now, there are occasional just moments where the performance stutters for seemingly no reason. Other than that, it runs pretty smooth. There's some flickering from time to time, but overall, I'd prefer this to running the PS1 version because it has lower resolution textures and awful affine texture warping. And then the N64 version, I don't like the texture filtering. Overall, this looks pretty nice for a game. I think this came out in '99. You know, for a game from around that time, it holds up pretty well. But I thought it was awesome that you know, you were playing from the scale of Buzz Lightyear. And ever since then, I've always been trying to find similar games. Forgot I have to latch onto this. I almost didn't make it. So I think it was almost 2 years ago I played a game called War of Toys and another one called like Plastic Soldiers. And those were both games I found because of this game. I wanted to find other games like it. But I bought Toy Story 3, the game, for PC, and I've never even played any of that. So I do plan to play that on this channel at some point, and that will be 100%, you know, for the first time. I also want to play the Toy Story 1 Sega Genesis game. Now there is a Super Nintendo version, but the Super Nintendo version is missing the racing level, and I want that level because it's really cool. At least I think it's really cool. And also I've heard that the handling for the first-person level and a lot of the platforming in general just doesn't work as well. And as a result, even though the Super Nintendo version looks a little bit better and the sound quality is a little bit better overall, from what I've heard, the better gameplay is in the Genesis version. Also, when I do play the Genesis version, I'll be playing the European release, and the reason is, in the American release, it doesn't have passwords, and in the European release it does. And there's this YouTube channel, I'll link it in the description. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but I'm subscribed to this YouTube channel, and it's this guy. He did a lot of work on Traveler's Tales games. He worked on Toy Story 1, and he said a lot of people think that they removed the password system for America to help rental sales or something like that. But he said the truth was the European release came out later, and they had gotten a lot of complaints about the difficulty of the game and it not having passwords or anything. So they added passwords for the European release. So that's the version I'll be playing. I figured I might as well go to this game first because I played this on my channel first. But the Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 1 game is a 2D platformer, whereas this is a 3D platformer. I really like the music in this game too. So we've got, right now I'm just going around working my way towards collecting as many of the stuff as I can. I was gonna try to grab that coin, but alright, I'm just gonna go through because I don't need any more coins at the moment. So what I'm trying to get is, I think, a sheep. Now this does have some draw distance simplification. For example, a lot of models do shrink in the distance or disappear. I don't think they shrink, I think they just disappear. But overall, this definitely does look better than the PS1 and N64 versions, and I think better than the Dreamcast version. It is in a higher resolution, at least. The one thing is, there's no sort of analog controls, and I don't know if there's controller support. Let's just go through here. There's one more sheep, and I think that'll be all of them. But we gotta give Mr. Potato Head his ear, and we'll be able to get this shield. Oh, come on, I didn't want to activate the dialogue again. But yeah, right now I'm controlling with just the keyboard. No mouse at all. It's not great that it doesn't have any sort of mouse input, but I mean, it works well enough. I also have Toy Story 1 and 2 for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Toy Story 1, the Game Boy port is for the original Game Boy, but of course it's compatible with the Game Boy Color. And then Toy Story 2 is for the Game Boy Color, but they made it backwards compatible with the original Game Boy, which from what I've heard is pretty rare. Not a lot of games did that. Both games are pretty poorly reviewed. I want to do a review on them sometime because I thought they were fine. I actually really enjoyed playing through them. It was really interesting to see a Toy Story 2 2D platformer. Because, I mean, obviously on the Game Boy Color, they weren't going to be able to do this. On the Game Boy Advance, they could have made something somewhat similar to this, but there's only really one game that I could compare on the Game Boy Advance to this, and that would be Asterix and Obelisk XXL. This game probably would have never seen a 3D rendition on the Game Boy Advance because there weren't very many 3D games on the Game Boy Advance. We got to get this hidden token. The one thing I hate about the coins is since they're just sprites, the depth can be difficult to tell because they're just flat shaded. Like with 3D models, it's easier to tell the distance you are from them. Not sure exactly what order I should do this in, but... So I think we're gonna have probably around a 20-minute video here, and I'll cut it down obviously to about 10 minutes or so. I think this should be relatively easy to edit compared to a lot of my other videos I've done recently. I also have Toy Story Racer for the Game Boy Color, and that game is really impressive. It uses some sort of compressed video format. It looks like I need one more sheep. Not sure where that would be, because I think I got the one from the crib. But yeah, Toy Story Racer, I have that on this computer for the PS1, so might play that for the channel. I think I'll just review it, because it's more of a... I don't think it's really a great game for doing Let's Plays on, but it is really, really fun. Alright, so we've got this coin, keep on playing, and I really hope we've got enough of the sheep. They're flashing, so it looks like I think I have enough. Let's go ahead and check.
Thanks, Buzz.
Alright, good. So we 100% completed this level. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Next time I'll be playing level 2. Hopefully I'll be doing videos much more regularly after July, so we'll have to see how that turns out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Now that you made it to the end of the video, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and if this is the first video of mine that you've seen, please check out some of my other videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.